Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Philadelphia, this is CBS 3 Eyewitness News this morning.
Well, last night's storms have left behind a very big mess in parts of our area. Straight ahead, we will take a look at some of the places that were hit hardest. And this is a live look from Kate and May this morning. Our warm stretch is coming to an end. Coming up, just how cool it'll feel out there as the temperatures drop. And tragedy in Delaware County as an intense house fire leaves a woman dead. Straight ahead, hear from first responders who tried desperately to save her life. Today is Saturday, November 3rd. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Carabeo. Let's start you off today with your forecast. Here's meteorologist Chelsea Ingram with Eyewitness Weather. Chelsea, so much rain and wind out there last night. Woo! How's it look right now?
Oh, so much better.
Good.
So that's all behind us, but we have more wind actually that's going to be heading our way later on today as high pressure builds in, Jan. But man, some very intense storms that passed through last night. We had multiple tornado warnings. Now, as we get more of that daylight, we'll have a better idea of exactly what happened with those storms. There was radar indicated rotation within some of those cells last night as Kate Bilo was tracking them. So I'm curious to see a better look at some of the damage later on this morning and today. Let's take you right now to a look at Storm Scan 3. You can see, oh my gosh, it's just so much quieter out there, but there's that line of storms that rolled on through associated with the cold frontal boundary. And yeah, they brought some downpours as well, but much quieter. We still have a couple of showers, I think, that'll roll through by about 8, 9 o'clock, especially from Philly and areas north. And then we really dry out. Record rain reported in Allentown yesterday, just under 3.5 inches. That beats the old record of 1.59 set back all the way in the 1930s. That was an old record that we crushed there yesterday. Doppler estimated rainfall anywhere from 3 to 5 inches across portions of the Lehigh Valley into Berks County, even areas in upper Bucks County. So some significant rains with that cold front. 57 right now in Philly. It's 53 in Wilmington, 57 in Millville. We'll talk more about those winds that will develop later on today, along with what you can expect as we head into the rest of your weekend coming up in a few minutes. Jan, back to you.
All right, Chelsea, thank you. 6:02 now and time to check the roads. Let's go over to Cheryl Golden in the CBS 3 Traffic Center. Good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning, Jan. Here's a live look eastbound on 676 the Vine Street Expressway at 76 the Schuylkill Expressway, where a crash is taking out the 2 left lanes, so please use caution as you make your way through the area. In Plymouth Meeting, heads up for a crash blocking the right lane as you head southbound on the Northeast Extension approaching the PA Turnpike. In Jersey, heads up for a crash in Little Egg Harbor heading northbound on the Garden State Parkway after Tuckerton. That's off on the shoulder. And back over to PA at 8:30 this morning, the Step Out Philadelphia Walk to Stop Diabetes kicks off. Expect some road closures on Martin Luther King Drive, Aikens Oval, westbound on Spring Garden Street, Kelly Drive, and Fairmount Avenue until around 1:30. Live from the CBS 3 Traffic Center, I'm Cheryl Golden. Jan, back to you.
All right, Cheryl, thank you. 6:03 now and back to our top story. Downed trees, flooded roads, property damage. This morning, neighbors throughout the Philadelphia region are checking to see what that wild weather overnight has done to their homes and cars. Eyewitness News reporter Matt Petrillo is live in Pottstown this morning to show us some of the damage. Matt, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, this is not how people wanted to start their morning. If you take a look, you can see this tree is toppled right over this house. It kind of broke up the road, and part of the sidewalk you can see is just a bunch of muck is left behind. A very deep hole there as well. It's just so much damage here. James lives just a couple doors down from where this tree happens. I mean, you came out just to look at this.
Yeah, I just came home from work, and my wife had told me about it last night. I can't believe it. That's amazing. That's amazing. We're speechless.
There's a lot of trees all up and down this street here in North Franklin Street in Pottstown.
The whole north end is bad. I was coming through here. I had to drive slow, watch myself. Debris, leaves and stuff on cars. Some other trees down. A lot of damage.
Yeah, so many roads are very slick. Take a look at some video we have from just a little bit ago. There was actually this is probably just one of several car crashes. Take a listen.
Beautiful.
This happened over on High Street where roads were very slick. It looks like a car rear-ended another one. This is one of probably a few crashes, but it seems like either the two drivers knew each other or didn't mind the fender bender because both cars then kept going. Meantime, take a look at some video of almost knee-high water not far from here on High Street and Roland Avenue in Pottstown. Crews had to rescue an 86-year-old woman after her friend's car stalled in the water. Well, she's thankful the crews helped her to safety. She tells us it wasn't pleasant. She could actually feel the leaves under the car as it kind of was slick and just sliding all over the road. She said she knew that they were in good hands, though. Meantime, the harsh winds also blew a roof off of a nearby apartment building. We're also told that several transponders were blown. We have all that coming up in the next half hour. For now, reporting live in Pottstown, Matt Petrillo, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Matt, a lot of work ahead today. Thank you. We'll see you in 30 minutes. The Lehigh Valley also took a hard hit from this wild weather overnight in Allentown right here. Floodwaters near Trout Creek overflowed into South 4th and Brookdale streets. Cars were stranded in the middle of the road as the rain fell there and the water rose. In another part of Allentown now, the fire department rushed to a landslide on River Drive near the Lehigh River. While it blocked part of the road there, fortunately, there are no reports of any injuries. And flooding also put cars underwater at the parking lot for Moravian College in Bethlehem. This is all along Mock Chunk Road, not far from Monocacy Creek. And make sure you count on the CBS 3 weather app to keep you ahead of the storm. There you can find your daily forecast and receive weather alerts as they're issued. Now the app is available on Apple and Android devices. In other news today, investigators are trying to pinpoint what caused a deadly fire in Delaware County. Firefighters rushed to this home on the 900 block of Larchmont Avenue in Havertown right around 6 o'clock last night. The flames there were too intense for firefighters to rescue a 56-year-old woman who died in the fire. Authorities say she used a wheelchair and was unable to get out.
And the mother and the daughter were trying to drag it out of the house, and it got caught in the doorway and then engulfed the first floor of the house. And unfortunately, the fire took off very, very quickly. They made valiant attempts to get inside, but it was to no avail.
Yeah, just heartbreaking there. 2 other people did manage to get out of that house. The Burlington County Prosecutor's Office and Pemberton Township Police are investigating after several high school students say a classroom aide sent them nude photos. Pemberton Township high school officials were notified of the alleged inappropriate contact between the female aide and male students. Officials say that aide is now off the job pending an investigation. Parents tell Eyewitness News the aide sent at least 4 nude photos to their children through social media.
It's sickening. It's disgusting. They're in school to be protected by the school, and apparently the school ain't doing their job good enough.
I just want the woman to be brought to justice for what she has done to these boys. Hopefully she hasn't scarred them and they can get past this.
So the Pemberton School District released a statement that reads in part, quote, "The school district takes all allegations of inappropriate behavior between a student and employee very seriously and remains committed to ensuring the safety and security of all students." An Uber driver from Lansdale is charged with raping a passenger. Authorities say Ahmed Al-Ghafari picked up an intoxicated woman at the Valley Forge Casino early on February 10th. Detectives believe he assaulted the woman before he eventually dropped her off at her home in Charlestown Township in Chester County. Authorities say DNA links Al-Ghafari to the crime. A yoga studio has become a crime scene in Tallahassee, Florida. Police say a man opened fire there, killing 2 people before killing himself. 4 other people were also hurt. A woman who was working at a nearby restaurant when some of the injured victims came into her restaurant for help, and that included a man who tried to fight the gunman. Take a listen.
He had quite a few wounds on his face, I guess, from being kind of helpful.
Investigators are looking for a link between the gunman and any of the victims to try to determine a motive. While police continue their investigation, they say there is no longer any threat to the public. Well, 3 congregations that used a Pittsburgh synagogue where a gunman opened fire last week will hold a joint service at another temple today. Meantime, there is hope at a Philadelphia synagogue that 4 words will inspire solidarity and peace. Eyewitness News reporter Alexandria Hoff went to Congregation Rodef Shalom in Spring Garden, where many answered the hashtag #ShowUp to Shabbat.
Handshakes led to hugs, and hugs led to dancing. There was a joy inside of Rodef Shalom Synagogue on Broad Street as Shabbat was observed and embraced by hundreds in attendance. It was a necessary joy amid potentially paralyzing pain.
I grew up in Pittsburgh and I was raised in Tree of Life Synagogue. It's where I was bat mitzvahed and went to Hebrew school and Sunday school 3 times a week.
Carol Rosenthal's idyllic memories were nearly shattered last Sunday when the synagogue she was raised in became the site of terror. Authorities say Pittsburgh resident Robert Bowers opened fire inside the place of worship during last Saturday's prayer service. 11 were killed, 6 injured. Authorities have called the massacre the worst violent incident of anti-Semitism in U.S. history.
I'm saddened, I'm sickened, I'm angered. I wish I could say I was in disbelief, but I'm unfortunately not. But I'm not scared.
In this first Shabbat since the shooting, the community locally and nationwide has embraced solidarity.
We find strength in one another and in our prayers and our singing together and our knowing one another.
Adorned on the Rodef Shalom building, a message of pursuing love and peace, key principles in the Jewish faith, held as sacred as Shabbat, Hebrew for Sabbath, a time once a week to ease the heart and mind.
How can you not need that, especially after a week like this?
Alexandria Hoff, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
And we're told the crowd of worshipers there was larger than usual, and there was security at the door. Well, straight ahead right here on CBS 3 Eyewitness News this Saturday morning, the man accused of mailing pipe bombs to top Democrats and CNN is getting ready to head to court. Straight ahead, see the video investigators showed in court of a police encounter with Caesar Sayoc weeks before those pipe bombs were mailed. Plus, some high schools are doing away with class rankings. Coming up, hear why school officials say those rankings just aren't a good measure of success anymore. We'll be right back. Back now on Eyewitness News, the man accused of sending more than a dozen pipe bombs to prominent Democrats and Trump critics is heading to New York to face federal charges. Correspondent Andy Rose brings us up to date.
Pipe bomb suspect Caesar Sayoc appeared in a Miami courtroom Friday. He waived his right to a bond hearing and will be transferred to New York, where he will face 5 federal criminal charges, including illegal mailing of explosives and threats against former presidents. This comes as more possible bombs are being discovered. The FBI tweeted Friday that a package resembling those sent to other targets was recovered Thursday night in California. That package was addressed to Democratic billionaire donor Tom Steyer. We are also hearing the suspect's voice for the first time. Police in Florida released body camera footage from a September encounter when 2 officers responded to reports of a suspicious van in a parking lot.
Hey, you all right, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Listen, someone had called and they were concerned about you.
I just got done working up at the nightclub.
Ultra nightclub.
Yeah, I work till 6 o'clock. I appreciate it. Yeah, come see me. I'm Caesar.
Caesar, yeah, man, you're a good guy.
Sayoc's attorney says his client intends to plead not guilty to the charges. If convicted, he could receive up to 48 years in prison. Andy Rose, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
And in other news today, the cleanup is underway in Florida's Tampa Bay area after tornadoes rolled through. At least 4 tornadoes touched down there. Storms also brought high winds and heavy rainfall. They were powerful enough to rip off roofs and topple trees. Fortunately, though, only minor injuries were reported. A lot of people dealing with a lot of severe weather and a lot of damage this morning, Chelsea.
That's right, Jan. It wouldn't surprise me as winds once again ramp up this afternoon with high pressure building in and the ground being as saturated as it is from all that rain. We could potentially see even more damage with some downed trees, maybe even some local power outages heading into the afternoon, and that's when we expect the peak of the winds to be occurring. Our weather watchers have checked in with temperatures this morning that are in the 50s, and we so appreciate your reports all the time. We really do consider you a part of our team, and if you do happen to see any storm damage around later on today, particularly if you're in the Lehigh Valley, places like Bucks County, maybe even Chester County, send us those pictures. We'd really appreciate it. David says in Gloucester Township, it's right around 57 57 degrees in his backyard. We also have a couple other weather watchers checking in the 50s. Fran in Nottingham, PA says it's 50 degrees where he lives, and he had just over an inch and a half of rainfall in his neighborhood. Let me take you right now to a look at Storm Scan 3. You can see those nasty storms that rolled through on this 6-hour loop here on Storm Scan. The good news is those have pushed offshore. We're now just dealing with a couple of lingering spotty showers, a little drizzle here and there. Of course, we have the cloud cover, and I do think by about 8, 9 o'clock this morning, we'll have another batch of showers that push through, especially from Philly on up for places north, and then we really dry out later on into the afternoon and evening. We have a flood warning that's in place until 8:45 this morning. 3 to 5 inches of rain fell earlier in some of these locations highlighted here in the green. We have those swollen creeks, rivers, and streams, but we will indeed be drying out later on today. So here's a look at that cold front pushing offshore. We're going to have high pressure building on in, and when you get that shift from high to low pressure, the earth has to kind of balance itself out, and sometimes it does that by producing the wind, and that's what we're going to deal with later on today. So wind advisory is actually in effect for Mercer County. We have also Ocean County and Monmouth counties for gusts possible to around 45 miles per hour. Again, the strongest winds I think are going to be occurring as we head into the afternoon. Now, they're not all that impressive right now, but they have increased from about half an hour ago. 13 miles sustained at Philadelphia International. But look what happens as I fast forward in time. Here we are at 1 o'clock. Those winds ramping up over 30 miles an hour in many locations. Here we are at 4 or 5 o'clock. They're going to be over 20, over 30, possibly even upwards of around 40 miles per hour. But it's not going to last into tonight. We will see those gusts subsiding a little bit, even though it does stay slightly on the breezy side of things. It's 56 right now in Philadelphia, 54 in Wilmington, 51 in Reading. We're in the upper 40s in the Poconos, still around 63 degrees in Atlantic City. So a drastic drop in temperatures heading our way. Don't dress for the weather we've had the past 2 days when you head outside for whatever you have planned this afternoon. Dress for this, 58 degrees, so a big difference compared to yesterday's high of around 72. It's going to be feeling a lot more like fall today. So future weather shows this next batch that I was talking about of a couple of showers by about 8, 9 o'clock, especially from the city and then on into points north for some of our north and western suburbs into the Lehigh Valley and even the Poconos. But then high pressure builds in. We completely dry out, mostly clear skies overnight, and then tons of sunshine as we head into part 2 of the weekend with less wind as well. Quick clearing, turning windy today. Look for a high temperature of 58 degrees down the shore, a high around 58, and the Poconos looking at a high temperature of 50 degrees. And then here's your Eyewitness weather 7-day forecast. So Sunday looking like a beautiful day for some fall activities. Jam, we get an extra hour of sleep tonight, and then it turns wet once again as we head into Monday. But I'm looking forward to that extra hour.
Oh, so am I. Best day of the year. Thank you, Chelsea. 6:20 now. It's been a long-standing tradition at high schools, ranking seniors based on grades. But there's a new trend on the rise, doing away with those rankings. Eyewitness News reporter Greg Argos explains.
Think back to high school. Do you remember what you were ranked in high school by any chance?
No clue.
I had no idea.
No, not really.
And neither will most recent high school grads. That class ranking, which determines who makes that valedictorian speech, is going the way of the dinosaur.
It was important, I remember when I went to school.
Many universities don't factor it into their admissions decisions, and high schools that still use the system are getting rid of it entirely.
Everybody gets a trophy, and this is absolutely not that issue.
Dr. Mark Bertrando is the superintendent of the Garnet Valley School District, which will likely phase out ranking starting with next year's high school seniors.
From a social emotional perspective, we saw a lot of students stressing themselves out, fighting for that extra tenth of a point.
Academically, though, Bertrando says students will still be held accountable.
You still have GPA, you still have to take the most rigorous courses that you can handle. So this doesn't mean because class rank is over, everybody gets to go to Harvard.
We do not rank students.
This student at a nearby school says getting rid of the fight for first allowed her to pursue a curriculum she's interested in.
To be themselves and not like a number.
And that's another reason why Garnet Valley is eliminating the system.
They were selecting courses based on how is this going to impact my class rank.
But some folks think keeping the system as is works best and simply adds a bit of friendly rivalry between classmates.
It helps these kids actually have a little bit of competition.
Greg Argos, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
And still ahead on Eyewitness News this Saturday morning, a gym is turning its members' workouts into power, quite literally. See how members riding spin bikes are helping to power the lights in the room and everything around the building. We'll explain after the break. Welcome back, and on the Health Watch now, a super-powered workout that does more than just shape your body. Health reporter Stephanie Stahl takes us to a gym that harnesses the power of its members while using innovative green technology.
Press go on your bike so we can calculate how many watts we can generate in a class.
These gym members aren't just energizing their bodies, they're energizing the building.
Good job.
Workouts here are helping power everything from the equipment to lights and fans.
Months and months of trial and error, so we had to go through reprogramming.
The system connects specially designed equipment to the building itself. It starts with machines like this treadmill, which users have to put in motion to turn on.
So the faster they go, then the faster the machine will turn on, and they need to maintain a certain tempo in order to keep the machine going.
Good job. You're generating energy.
Inside every piece of equipment is a microinverter similar to what's used in wind turbines. It harnesses kinetic energy generated during a workout and converts it to AC power.
That energy that's being produced immediately goes straight into our battery.
The energy stored there is redirected to every electrical outlet in the building.
Get that watt number up.
For gym members, racking up watts has become a part of daily workouts. Monitors show how much they generate, and a monthly competition tracks who generated the most power.
More of a challenge to myself. It's pushing it, how hard you can go, how much energy you can produce.
Keep it strong.
A new take on people power, helping create healthier members and a healthier planet.
The workout power has significantly reduced electric bills along with some solar panels. That gym is in California, but the technology is expected to be rolled out in gyms across the country. I'm Stephanie Stahl, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
And ahead on Eyewitness News, we're now getting a look at the damage left behind by last night's severe weather. Matt.
Well, this toppled tree behind me here in Pottstown is just part of the damage people are waking up to this morning after that wild storm from overnight. I'm Matt Petula with what else happened here in Pottstown.
Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Philadelphia, this is CBS 3 Eyewitness News this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Saturday, November 3rd. I'm Jan Carabeo. Some wild weather out there overnight. Meteorologist Chelsea Ingram is out there live on the CBS 3 Skydeck this morning with eyewitness weather. Calming down now, fortunately, Chelsea.
Yeah, it's dry right now this morning, Jan. Good morning to you. Good morning to you at home. I am starting to feel the winds picking up just a little bit more compared to how they were about an hour ago. And we anticipate those winds will really rev up later on this afternoon as high pressure builds in. Let me show you a look at Storm Scan 3. You can see those wild storms that moved on through, bringing heavy rain, strong winds, perhaps even a few tornadoes. Now, sunrise is about an hour from now, actually around 7:32 a.m. this morning for Philadelphia. So I suspect within about an hour, we'll have a much better idea with a look at some of that storm damage as to whether or not a tornado did roll through in a couple of spots. And perhaps even the National Weather Service will have to go out and survey the damage as well. So we'll keep you updated with that. In the meantime, we're drying out, but man, some significant rainfall in Allentown, just under 3.5 inches. That's a record total for yesterday, breaking the old record of just under 1.6 inches set back in the 1930s. So very wet weather. As we get those winds increasing today and a saturated ground, it is possible that we do see additional trees down, perhaps even some power outages. Here's a look at the Doppler estimated rainfall totals. Anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of rain fell in the Lehigh Valley, even portions of Upper Bucks County into Berks County. So we'll talk a lot more about what you can expect as we head into this afternoon with those winds, then also for the rest of your weekend. That's in just a few minutes. For now, Jan, sending it back to you.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Chelsea. 6:31 now, time to check the roads. Let's go over to Cheryl Golden in the CBS 3 Traffic Center. Good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning, Jan. Here's a live look at the 42 freeway in New Jersey. No accidents or delays in your way, but give yourself some extra time as you head out this this morning due to those wet roadways and some ponding in spots. In White Marsh Township, a downed tree has closed Denton Avenue between Joshua Road and Militia Hill Road. Also, the Step Out Philadelphia Walk to Stop Diabetes kicks off at 8:30 this morning. Expect some road closures on Martin Luther King Drive, Aikens Oval, westbound on Spring Garden Street, Kelly Drive, and Fairmount Avenue until around 1:30. And for mass transit, buses will replace trains on the Norristown High-Speed Line between 69th Street and Bryn Mawr today and tomorrow due to construction. Live from the CBS 3 Traffic Center, I'm Cheryl Golden. Jan, back to you.
All right, Cheryl, thank you. Back to our top story now. Severe storms rumbled through the Philadelphia region overnight, bringing heavy rain and strong winds to much of the area. And now daybreak is about to reveal all the damage left behind. Eyewitness News reporter Matt Petrillo is live in Pottstown this morning to tell us more about it. Good morning, Matt.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, it's a good thing that tomorrow is daylight savings time. People are going to have an extra hour to clean up all this mess. They're really going to need it. You can see this tree behind me just toppled right over this house here on North Franklin Street in Pottstown. It left a big mess behind. We're not sure if there was anyone inside the house, but we can tell you the power is also off here on North Franklin Street. There's actually supposed to be lights on the street, but there are nothing. We just talked to a homeowner who says that her power is off because of this wild storm. It also blew out several transformers. If you take a look at some video from overnight, you can see some other damage left behind in Lower Pottsgrove. It also caused a tree to start burning early this morning, and not far from there, high winds picked up a roof right off an apartment complex by Reynolds Street and Farmington Avenue. You can see a piece of that roof laying on the street. We're told that the complex was not evacuated, but the fire chief is warning people to be extra cautious this morning.
A portion of the roof was blown off of that building, took some wires down to the front of the building, and part of the roof is laying on the sidewalk to the front of the building at this time. PECO's come out and secured all the electrical lines and made sure that the area was safe, and the maintenance from the building is taking care of the roof.
Yeah, so really just so important to be very careful this morning. Meantime, back out here, you can just see just how massive this tree is. I'm a little bit more than 6 feet tall, and it really just covers the entire house here on North Franklin Street in Pottstown. So again, the message this morning is to just be very careful if you are driving on the streets. Reporting live in Pottstown, Matt Petrillo, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Yeah, good advice, and that's a shame. That's a big, beautiful tree out there. All right, Matt, thanks for your coverage. Appreciate it. And the heavy rain also swelled waterways in the Lehigh Valley. Monocacy Creek there overflowed in Bethlehem. The National Weather Service says many creeks and streams rose overnight. And make sure you count on the CBS 3 weather app to keep you ahead of the next storm. There you can find your daily forecast and receive weather alerts as they're issued. The app is available for Apple and Android devices. In other news today, 2 people are in the hospital after a double shooting in Fair Hill. That shooting happened just before 7:30 last night along the 1800 block of East Somerset Street. Police say one man was shot in the head, the other was shot in the chest. Both were taken to the hospital and were listed in critical condition at last check. So far, no arrests and no word on the victims' identities. Philadelphia police are trying to track down the person who sent a racist and threatening letter to a new homeowner in Tacony. The letter sent to Connie Mella is filled with so much profanity and racist comments we can't even show it on TV. The sender threatened to burn down Mella's home if she was too noisy, and they claim that they've done that once before. Mella tells Eyewitness News she now feels nervous in her own home, and a neighbor says the letter is nothing new.
A few families got threatening letters, about kids making noise, same thing. And then there was a couple arsons.
Police say they are taking this threat very seriously and are now investigating. There was no return address on that letter. Police are investigating hateful vandalism in Montgomery County. Someone spray painted swastikas on a car window there. The owner shared a picture of the graffiti after finding it Thursday morning. Police are investigating this as a hate crime, and they think the same person may be responsible for other graffiti found nearby. Well, 3 days now before the midterm elections, President Trump is on the campaign trail. And as correspondent Nicole Killian reports, the president has a busy schedule this weekend.
President Donald Trump continued campaign stumping across the country Friday with stops in West Virginia.
Hello, West Virginia, what a place.
And Indiana.
You people are energized.
The president touted economic successes.
More Americans are working right now today in this country than have ever worked in this country before.
And he continued to hammer one of his top issues, illegal immigration.
Democrats want to totally open the borders. They have the caravans. Let them in. Do you want to let them in? Does anybody want to let them in?
The Trump administration has authorized thousands of troops to go to the U.S.-Mexico border to intercept migrant caravan groups. And the president has drawn criticism for saying he would sign an executive order to strip away the 14th Amendment's guarantee of birthright citizenship for children born to illegal immigrants on U.S. soil. Former President Barack Obama was also on the campaign trail for Democrats Friday. He took a swipe at President Trump on the birthright citizenship issue.
A president doesn't get to decide on his own who's an American citizen and who's not.
After a stop in Miami, former President Obama moved on to a rally in Georgia. Meanwhile, President Trump is expected to hold 7 more rallies between now and Election Day. Nicole Killian for CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Meantime, Twitter has deleted more than 10,000 automated accounts. Those accounts posted messages that discouraged people from voting in Tuesday's election, and those messages wrongly appeared to be from Democrats. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee flagged the misleading tweets and alerted Twitter. Twitter previously deleted millions of accounts found to be responsible for spreading misinformation in the 2016 presidential election. Well, Parx Casino is going all in on sports betting. Officials have announced plans for a $10 million sports betting complex at the Ben Salem Casino. The complex is expected to open sometime in 2019. Until then, Parx says it will create a temporary sports book in a former bar space. The U.S. Supreme Court legalized sports betting in May. Parx was one of the first casinos in the state to get a license. Well, there is so much more to cover right here on CBS 3 Eyewitness News, and there is new hope for people who are paralyzed. Straight ahead, scientists have developed a device that can help them walk again, and we'll take a look at the implant that makes what seems impossible possible. We'll be right back. Back now on Eyewitness News, Baltimore fire investigators blame storms for a partial building collapse at an Amazon distribution warehouse that killed one person. A 50-foot wall collapsed at the Amazon fulfillment center as that storm hit the area. Firefighters found one person under debris. That person was pronounced dead at the hospital. A second person was unaccounted for. The National Weather Service had earlier warned of thunderstorms in that area, with some producing gusty winds and heavy rain. An Idaho school district is investigating after photos went viral showing elementary school teachers and staff dressed as Mexicans and a border wall. Take a look at this. These photos were posted Wednesday on the Middleton School District's Facebook page. Angry parents have called and emailed that district. The superintendent there says the costumes came from a week-long team building activity, which he says was meant to promote kindness and respect.
And certainly it's something, once this review is done, we'll need to look and see what sort of training that might be appropriate.
District trustees will hold a special meeting this morning. It's unclear whether that meeting concerns these photos, but the meeting's agenda refers to, quote, complaints and charges brought against someone. On the Health Watch now, there's new hope for people who are paralyzed. A small implant could be the key. According to the scientists who developed this device, it's helping people walk again. Health reporter Stephanie Stahl has the details.
1, 2.
David Macy was paralyzed for 7 years until one of Switzerland's leading neurosurgeons gave him a spinal implant that changed his life. Here he is training with it a year ago. When the device is turned off, he can't move. When it's on, he continues to walk.
This little device that is an impulse generator is giving impulses to the electrode that is located on the spinal cord.
Stim on.
David can control the stimulation remotely through his watch. When it's on, he's able to walk more than half a mile.
I think you got to try to do the impossible to make the possible possible. And I think we're doing that, and it feels good.
Nerves in the spinal cord send signals from the brain to the legs. In someone who's paralyzed, there's usually a small signal, but it's too weak to create movement. The implant boosts the signal, activating muscles in the legs. The scientists who developed the technique say the implant even seems to help repair damaged nerves.
Nerve fibers are growing again, so that they are reconnected the brain to the spinal cord.
Doctors are working to make the stimulation more comfortable for patients like David so they can keep the device active all the time.
While this research shows paralysis can be reversed to some degree, the question remains, by how much? I'm Stephanie Stahl, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
There's a lot coming up on CBS This Morning Saturday. Anthony Mason and Dana Jacobson join us live from New York with a preview. Good morning.
Hey, Jen, good morning. Coming up, we'll have all the morning's headlines.
Plus, what will life be like on Mars when humans live on the red planet? That's the question posed in the National Geographic Channel series Mars. Producer and Oscar-winning director Ron Howard is here to give us a preview of the new season.
And we'll take you to Singapore, where street food is one of the city's main attractions. But with many of the vendors aging, the traditions and recipes are in danger of being lost. What's being done to preserve the taste of the city?
We're hungry here in the studio. That looks good. All of that, plus your eye opener, the dish, and music in our Saturday session. Just ahead on CBS This Morning Saturday.
Yeah, we are always hungry here, too. It seems we can never get enough of those segments. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. See you at 7. Well, check this out now. Santa is wasting no time at all kicking off the holiday season. It seems like his schedule gets longer and longer each and every year. The big man in red there arrived at the King of Prussia Mall yesterday and was already greeting guests. Despite his early arrival, the children seemed ready to share their Christmas lists as always, right? The King of Prussia Mall is just one of many in our area that welcomed Santa, or of course, one of Santa's helpers yesterday. And Chelsea, it might be a better day to get out there today. Because overnight it was rough.
I know, it was really rough, and it's going to be windy today. So Sunday honestly looks like the best day of the weekend, but we will see some major improvement as far as sky cover later on today. We'll see plenty of sunshine by the afternoon. But yeah, it's going to be pretty windy. We could see gusts around 40, 45 miles per hour in some locations. A lot of our weather watchers, as you can see here on the map, are checking in the 50s. Here's our weather watcher, Carrie Higgins in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, says it's right around 56 degrees in her backyard, and she received just about 3/4 of an inch of rain. I'll show you a couple of pictures that have been sent in as well. Some beautiful fall foliage. This one sent in from Len Springer Kennel. Isn't that just stunning? I love the color of the trees this time of year. But here's the thing, with today's winds, that might mean you might have to get out the rake for Sunday. So you might be spending some time on Sunday raking up your yard because the winds are going to blow a lot of these leaves off the trees. They'll be that strong. So let me take you right now to a look at Storm Scan 3. I can show you a look at those storms that rolled through last night here on the 6-hour loop. Kate Bilo was so busy tracking these storms, even had a few tornado warnings as well. Notice how we're quieting down, but out to our west, we're starting to get another batch of showers that's rolling on in. Those likely to be here into the Philadelphia area, probably within the next 2 hours or so, and then we really dry out, making our way into the afternoon. Looking at this latest flood warning that's been issued, it's in effect until 8:45 this morning, and some of these locations, about 3 to 5 inches of rain already has fallen, and we do expect a couple of more additional morning showers around. So we already have those swollen creeks, rivers, and streams, but we'll be drying out as we head into the afternoon and expect to see some serious improvement as far as that's concerned. So here's that cold front that's already making its way offshore. It's going to continue to move out. High pressure builds in, but as a result, we get these winds really pumping later on this afternoon. We'll have a westerly wind, and it could gust up to around 45 miles per hour in some locations. So we do have a wind advisory that's been issued for portions of our coastal communities into Ocean and Monmouth counties, as well as Mercer County. So including our folks up there in Trenton. And my concern with this is the winds later today. Well, the ground's very saturated, so it won't surprise me if more trees go down later today and maybe even some localized power outages too. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Winds aren't too significant right now. They have gone up a little bit more in the sustained fashion here in Philadelphia, about 13 miles per hour. But look what happens as we make our way into the afternoon. Gusts over 30 miles per hour by 1 o'clock, even higher by 4. We could see gusts easily over 30 miles per hour at times, but possibly upwards of 40 and even 45 in some locations. So if you still have your Halloween decorations out, maybe a good idea to bring those inside this morning so they don't go blowing all over the place if they didn't already last night with that line of storms. 56 right now in Philly, 54 in Allentown, 48 up in the Poconos down the shore. It's right around 60 degrees in Atlantic City. So here's a look at what happens by 8, 9 o'clock. We get that round 2 of a couple of showers. Nothing like what we dealt with last night, just showers really mainly light in energy and fashion, and then we're going to be drying on out with high pressure building in. Look at all this sunshine by the afternoon, and that's going to stick around for the remainder of the weekend. High temperatures today will be in the 50s, so don't dress for weather like we had yesterday or the day before. You need to dress for the 50s today. It is going to be much cooler out there. 58 for that high temperature in Philadelphia with quick clearing, and it's going to be turning windy as well. Overnight low temperatures dropping into the 30s, 38 in Philadelphia. So while you're sleeping, good idea to maybe turn on the heat tonight, maybe even the flannel PJs if you're like myself. Looking at your next 7 days, remember we fall back tonight. 57 on Sunday, should be a beautiful day tomorrow. Then we turn wet once again to start the work week. Jan.
I like that extra blanket too, Chelsea.
Yeah, you know, if you're like me, I'm always cold.
Always cold.
Like. Yep.
Can never be too warm. Thanks, Chelsea. Appreciate it. 6:51 now. New Jersey native Bruce Springsteen's wildly popular solo Broadway show will now become an album.
This train, you're the steel wheel singing. This train, bells of freedom ringing.
So Springsteen announced the release with a preview of the single Land of Hopes and Dreams. The soundtrack will arrive December 14th, the day before Springsteen's final Broadway performance, which will also be streamed as a Netflix special. Well, this morning, Victoria Woodall is taking us to a 50s style restaurant in Southampton where the grill is always filled with gourmet favorites. They also serve up some delicious milkshakes. Here's this week's Taste with Tori.
Not quite a drive-in. Drive on up to Flip City Shakes in Southampton and you'll feel the heat of the grill rocking with sizzling burgers and shake machines rolling ice cream to sweet perfection. It's a jiving restaurant serving up a fun family feel and a stellar selection, owned by these 3 besties who have more in common than the obvious.
People say, oh, you gotta be bald. I'm like, no, we go to the same barber.
Back in the day, they all held their first job together at a popular restaurant in Lawndale.
Take me back to when you all were working with each other on Rising Sun Avenue.
Oh my goodness. Well, I was the little one. So they kind of always picked on me, but you know what, they always had me working. They always had me doing the dishes, mopping the floors.
They still got you.
They still got me working today, yep.
Just growing up, we all got a really good work ethic. Being in the business, we just remained friends over the years.
And for the past 4 years, they've been working together to give this community a bit of what they had when they were kids.
We see Bob coming in every Wednesday. We see Ray coming in. You know, my mom comes in. You know, back at Roy's, we knew everybody was going to come in on Friday. You know, we're trying to create that here.
On top of creating meals like these and shakes like this, the Monster Cookie.
Sweet, delicious whipped cream, ice cream, cookie, and it's blue.
Also, worthy, the guacamole burger.
When you bite into this burger, your teeth make it to the burger, and then juices. Just like, hello, you've reached the bottom. That is so juicy. The bacon, the guac, it's hot, it's fresh, it's filling, it's fun, it's feel-good food. This is outrageously awesome.
The honorary Tori Tori grilled cheese with brie, Nutella, and frosted flakes.
Have you had this?
I have not had it.
Well, you are missing out. I feel like just calling it a grilled cheese doesn't do it justice. This is textural art. Crunch of the flakes, smear of the Nutella, tender rip and melt of the brie. This is amazing.
Needless to say, I was fried.
Good thing I got a ride.
Thank you, Wes.
Victoria Waddle, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Talk about being hungry. Looks like a great time. Still ahead on Eyewitness News, we'll take one final check on the forecast. We'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. Unfortunately, some people are waking up to some damage out there.
I know, and I have a feeling we're just about a little over 30 minutes away from sunrise. So, yeah, probably going to see a lot of damage today. 59 degrees for the high temperature. We're going to have a lot of wind, so just keep that in mind this afternoon. We dry out.
Wear a little jacket. Thanks, Chelsea. That's CBS 3 Eyewitness News for now. We may be signing off on TV, but we are always online at cbsphilly.com. CBS This Morning, Saturday is next. Have a great weekend.